Long ago, Earth sent all its broken machines, rusted ships and useless weapons to one place, a dead planet with no name, no trees, no water, only endless metal, plastic and trash. Over the years, the galaxy called it one thing, the garbage planet. No one lived there. No one visited. Ships stayed far away. Not because of the smell, space had no smell, but because of the rumors. Some aliens said ships that landed on the planet never came back. Others said strange lights moved through the trash piles at night. Some swore they heard voices, human voices, from deep underground. Everyone agreed on one thing: do not land there. One day, in a far corner of the galaxy, a small alien ship shook in panic. Red lights flashed inside. Smoke hissed from the control panel. Sparks danced in the air. "System failing," shouted the ship's AI. Kelzor, a young alien scout from the Shatari Empire, gripped the flight stick. He had blue scales, sharp teeth and forearms, but even he looked scared. "Reroute to safety," he barked. "There is only one nearby planet, Captain," said the AI, "but just do it." The ship spun and dropped from hyperspace. A dead grey world filled the screen. Metal hills, broken towers. Trash as far as the eye could see. Kelzor didn't know it yet, but he had just arrived on the garbage planet. The crash wasn't gentle. His ship slammed into a mountain of scrap metal and rolled for hundreds of meters. Pieces of the ship broke, off and flew in every direction. Kelzor crawled from the wreckage, coughing, one arm broken. He looked around. Old human banners flapped weakly in the dry wind. Smashed drones twitched slightly, like insects long dead. Nothing moved, no birds, no sky cars, no life, only junk. He tried calling for help. "Command, do you read me? I need extraction." Silence. Then, something crackled in his ear. Not a voice, not a signal. It was laughter, but it wasn't alien. It was human. Kelzor stood still. His eyes scanned the metal hills. He didn't believe in ghosts. He didn't believe the stories. But now, he wasn't so sure. He climbed to a high point and looked around. In the distance, through heat and haze, he saw something strange. A tower, made entirely from garbage, old guns, pipes, rusted ship parts, solar panels and screens. It was a fortress built from trash. No way it was natural. Someone had made it. Someone was alive on this dead world. Night fell fast. The sky turned black. The wind grew colder. Kelzor made a small shelter using pieces of his ship. He lit a plasma torch and sat inside. Then he heard it. A loud clang. Then another. Then a slow, steady, dragging sound. He peeked out. Something moved near the shipwreck. He held his breath. A shadow, tall and thin, walked slowly across the junk. It wore something like armor, maybe cobbled together from scrap. Its head turned left, then right, as if searching. Suddenly it stopped and looked straight at him. Kelzor froze. The figure tilted its head, then slowly walked away into the dark. The next morning, he followed the tracks left in the dust. Boot prints, human-sized. He followed them across sharp piles of metal and through half-buried buildings. Then he found a wall, 10 meters high, made from crushed vehicles and twisted steel. A door stood in the middle. It was shut. A small camera above it blinked once. Kelzor raised his hands. "I come in peace. I need help." The camera blinked again. Then a mechanical voice spoke. "Throw away your weapons." Kelzor hesitated. The voice came again, colder, sharper, now. He dropped his blaster, his knife, his tools. The door opened with a loud hiss. Inside it was quiet, too quiet. The air was dry, lights flickered weakly, pipes dripped. Then he heard footsteps. From behind the shadows, a human walked forward. A woman. Her clothes were made from patched-up fabric and armor plates. Her boots were made from melted tire rubber. A broken ship's visor covered half her face, but her eyes were clear, sharp, focused. "You're not the first to land here," she said calmly. But you might be the last. Kelzor stared. You live here? The woman nodded. Name's Rhea, and this planet is mine. She led him deeper into the fortress. Every hallway was built from garbage, yet it all worked. Old solar panels powered lights. Water dripped into clean pipes. Machines buzzed quietly in the background. This is impossible, Kelzor whispered. Rhea turned. No. Just forgotten. She pointed to a wall of screens. They showed camera feeds from all over the planet. You think this is a garbage world, but it's more than that. Its history, its memory, its potential. Kelzor shook his head. How long have you been here? 10 years. Maybe more. Earth abandoned this planet, and they left me behind during a battle. Why didn't they come back? They think I'm dead, she said, and they're scared. That night, alarms screamed. A flash of red lit the sky. Rhea ran to a panel and hit a button. A map appeared showing blinking red dots. Scouts, she said. Aliens, your people. Kelzor stepped back. They're not here for me. I know, she said coldly. They're here for this. She showed him a large room. In the center was a huge machine, half buried in junk. It glowed with soft blue light. What is that? He asked. A leftover from Earth's last war. A failed AI. I rebuilt it. The machine spoke in a deep voice. Welcome, Kelzor. I have waited for you. He backed away in fear. Rhea crossed her arms. This planet isn't just trash anymore. She looked at the sky. It's a fortress. Suddenly, lights blinked on across the garbage fields outside. Turrets hidden under piles of scrap popped up. Drones built from old toys and cleaning bots floated into the air. Rhea pulled a lever. Walls moved. Pits opened. Traps set themselves. You built all this? Kelzor asked, stunned. I had time, she said. And I had help. He looked at the AI core glowing behind her. And now? He asked. She smiled. Now I protect what's mine. The alarms grew louder. Outside, the alien dropships landed. But the planet was awake now, and the trash was ready to fight. Rhea stood at the edge of her fortress wall, looking down at the field of junk. Alien ships were landing, sleek black hulls, sharp legs, red lights scanning the surface. The invaders came quietly, but Rhea had already seen them before they entered orbit. The trash had eyes, broken cameras from old satellites, scanners from useless drones. She had connected them all, one by one, over years of work. Now the fortress saw everything. Inside, Kelzor stood nervously. He watched Rhea move with confidence, flipping switches, checking cameras, tapping buttons. Made from old plastic. He still couldn't believe it. A human, alone, alive, in a place no one was supposed to survive. You live here alone? He asked. Rhea didn't look at him. Not alone. I have Sentinel-3. The AI buzzed quietly behind her. I helped restore it. It helped me build this. Kelzor stepped closer. But why stay? Why not signal Earth? Ask for rescue? She finally looked at him. Because they left me. They made this planet a graveyard, but I made it my home. Years ago, Rhea had been a soldier, not a famous one, not important, just a technician on a failed mission. When her ship was damaged in a retreat, the others left. No time, no fuel, no orders to wait. They thought she died in the crash. But she didn't. She woke up, bleeding, cold, surrounded by junk, and something inside her changed. She didn't scream. She didn't cry. She started building. Her hands had once repaired drones. On this planet, they reprogrammed broken cleaners into watchbots. She once fixed guns. Here, she turned busted turrets into laser traps. She once built nothing from blueprints. Now she built everything from memory. She learned to listen to the wind, to hear the shifts in metal, to smell heat in broken wires. In time, she found the AI core deep underground, a failed Earth experiment. It was barely alive, just flickers of code, but she fed it power. She gave it direction, and together they built the fortress. Back in the present, alarms pulsed quietly. The alien squads were moving. "They're scanning the junk fields," Rhea said, "looking for a path in." "They won't come peacefully," Kelzor warned. "Shatari never come without weapons." "I know," Rhea replied. "That's why I'm not waiting." She pressed a button. Far outside, a hidden pile of junk exploded upward, releasing a dozen flying drones made from old toy helicopters and parts of ancient fans. Each one carried a camera. A small bomb, a small surprise. They spread like a swarm across the junk. The aliens stopped. They fired at the drones, but missed. The drones didn't attack right away. They hovered, watched, recorded. "Why don't you destroy them?" Kelzor asked. Rhea smiled slightly. "Fear is more powerful than fire." Suddenly a second alarm rang. This one sharp, urgent. "North tunnel breach," Sentinel-3 announced. "Unauthorized entry. Single intruder." Rhea moved fast. She grabbed a handmade weapon, part hammer, part stun blade, and ran into the lower halls. Kelzor followed. They moved through tight passages lined with old computer shells and flickering lights. At the far end, someone stood. An alien. Shatari. Not a soldier, but a spy. He had entered quietly, using stealth gear, slipping through cracks in the wall. But Rhea was ready. She hit a switch. The floor dropped open. The spy screamed and vanished into a pit filled with coils and sparks. Kelzor stopped in shock. "You turned the walls into traps. Every floor, every door, every corner," she said. "This fortress doesn't let you make mistakes." He looked around with new eyes. Everything looked like trash, but it wasn't. Every item had a use. Every corner was wired. Every shadow was planned. It was all junk, but perfect junk. Later, Rhea showed him the power room. It was deep underground, made from a broken spaceship core. Solar panels on the surface charged it by day. Old cooling fans kept it running. Even broken food processors were used to grow simple plants. "This place is alive," Kelzor whispered. Rhea nodded. "It's more than that." She pointed to a wall of blinking lights. "The AI has been watching. Alien signals. You weren't the first." Kelzor looked confused. "What do you mean?" Rhea touched the wall. Dozens of red dots appeared. "Other fleets have landed here before. Small scout teams, elite hunters, even one full squadron." She turned toward him. None made it back. Kelzor felt a chill. "You killed them?" Rhea shook her head. "I didn't have to. The planet did." He stared at her. "What?" She walked over to a vent and opened it. "Feel the air." He did. It was warm. Too warm. Below them, something big was running. "The trash is waking up," she said. "Something deep beneath us is moving." Sentinel-3 spoke. "Core systems reactivating. Unknown energy detected in lower levels." Kelzor stepped back. "You didn't build all this, did you?" Rhea looked down. "I thought I did. But now, I think this planet remembers more than we know." She stared into the floor. "There's something older here, buried deep in the trash." Watching, waiting. Outside, alien squads opened fire. The drones finally responded, dropping stun bombs, guiding enemies into marked zones. Hidden speakers played static-filled voices, human whispers, laughter, commands. It wasn't real, but the aliens believed it was. One group fired at shadows. Another shot their own. Panic spread fast. The fortress didn't need to fire a bullet. The fear was doing all the work. Kelzor stood beside Rhea at the main screen. "You built this place from junk," she nodded. "But it's more than junk now. It's a fortress," he said. She corrected him. It's a message. He frowned. To who? To everyone who thinks humans are weak. To every species that throws away our tech like trash. To every empire that forgets what we're capable of. She looked out at the night sky. They made this planet a dump. She smiled coldly. I made it a warning. Far in orbit, a massive alien warship prepared to launch its main assault, but its systems blinked. Cameras flickered. Targeting failed. A voice played inside the ship's speakers, a human voice. Welcome to the garbage planet. We've been expecting you. From the outside, Rhea's fortress looked like a trash heap. But inside, it was smarter than most capital ships. It could see, hear, feel. It didn't sleep. And tonight, it watched everything. Deep underground, Sentinel-3's core glowed brighter than ever. Wires buzzed, screens flickered, tiny lights danced along rusty panels. The AI's voice filled the control room. New data received, long-range sensors locked, 10 alien vessels in orbit, primary weapons charging. Kelzor stood beside Rhea, tense. They're preparing for full attack, he said. I know, Rhea replied calmly. She stared at the screen. No panic, no fear, only quiet control. Outside the walls, the alien troops regrouped. Shatari war squads in black armor scanned the field. Their heat guns and slicer blades gleamed under dim stars. They no longer laughed. They no longer mocked. They knew something was wrong. Their scouts had vanished. Their drones were blind. Every step forward felt like walking into a trap, because it was. From her hidden towers, Rhea watched them all. Broken satellite dishes, dead ship antennas, old camera eyes. She had connected thousands of parts into a single massive web. It had one job: see everything. Even the rats running through pipes were tracked. Even leaves moved with purpose. No one could sneak in, no one could hide. Kelzor leaned over the table, confused. How do you power it all? There's no fuel, no support. Rhea smirked. I use what they left behind. She pointed to a corner. A solar battery made from crushed drone wings buzzed quietly. Energy from the sun. She pointed to a humming box beside it, heat from broken reactors. She tapped the floor. And below us, something old. He looked around. Every wall, every light, every wire, it all looked broken. But it wasn't. It was rebuilt. Carefully. Thoughtfully. Rhea had taken the galaxy's garbage and turned it into a brain. The fortress didn't just defend. It learned. It predicted. And now, it was ready to strike. Target acquired, Sentinel-3 said. Enemy warship preparing low-orbit descent. Rhea's eyes narrowed. She opened a drawer. Inside was a remote, made from old missile parts and gaming console. Buttons. Kelzor blinked. That controls weapons? Not just weapons, she said. It controls the response. She pressed the first button. All across the junk field's large metal arms began to rise, cobbled together from robot loaders and factory claws. They moved with eerie speed. In their grip, old weapons, human ones, alien ones, even unknown ones, all rewired. Already, the alien troops stared in horror. The junk around them was moving. Giant legs rose from beneath piles. Turrets turned. Cannons clicked. One soldier shouted, "It's alive!" Another tried to run but tripped over a wire. The ground beneath him opened and swallowed him whole. Back in the control room, Kelzor couldn't believe what he saw. You built all this? Rhea looked at him. I didn't just build it. She pointed to the AI core. We taught it to adapt. Sentinel-3 spoke again. Project Waking Steel. Initiating. Kelzor's heart raced. What's Project Waking Steel? The ground shook. Lights blinked. From deep beneath the fortress, something massive began to rise. Old earth metal, covered in rust, but moving with purpose. It looked like a giant, a war machine. Built From 100 broken things, a robot the size of a starship. It stood tall in the junk storm, then let out a deep, mechanical roar. The aliens panicked. They fired all at once. Beams, missiles, explosives. The giant didn't flinch. It raised an arm made from a fallen cruiser's wing and blocked the blast. Then it struck. One step, crushing 5 soldiers. One swing, destroying. A drop pod. Rhea watched quietly. "This is what they left behind," she whispered. "Forgotten tech. Forgotten strength." Kelzor stared, stunned. "You made a war titan from garbage." "No," she said. "I made it from anger." High above, the alien command ship watched in confusion. Their scans showed trash piles. Their data showed no threat. But now, an entire battlefield was alive, a ghost army built from the past, and at the center, one human, standing tall, not running, not hiding, commanding. Inside the ship, alien officers argued, "Retreat! No, she's bluffing. She's using fear. Fear is working." Rhea picked up the remote again, ready for the second response. Kelzor gulped. "What is it?" She pressed another button. Old satellites hidden in orbit began to glow. Forgotten Earth tech, filled with EMP charges. They activated one by one. A pulse shot across the sky. Every alien weapon shut down. Guns went dark. Comms went silent. Ships stalled. In midair, even the warship above began to drift. Rhea whispered, "Don't bring tech into a world made from broken tech." The fortress walls lit up. Speakers blasted a single message: "Leave, or be buried here forever." Many aliens ran, some screamed. One dropped to his knees and begged the sky for mercy. They didn't understand how it happened, how junk turned into death, how one woman turned silence into a storm. Back in the control room, Rhea sat down, quiet. Kelzor looked at her with new respect. "You don't need Earth." "No," she said, "but Earth might need me." Sentinel-3 spoke once more. New signal detected. Not Shatari, not alien. Kelzor leaned in. "What is it?" The AI paused. "Earthship, entering orbit." Rhea stood, silent, still, eyes sharp. Above the garbage world, the sky shimmered. A new ship appeared. Earth-made, shiny, clean, fresh paint still glowing. But Rhea didn't smile. She stared at the screen with cold eyes. "They finally came back," she whispered. But she wasn't sure if it was to save her or silence her. Kelzor looked confused. "I thought you wanted rescue." Rhea shook her head. "Not rescue. Respect." She walked to the console and tapped into old radio links. The fortress speakers crackled. "Unregistered. Earth vessel." Sentinel-3 spoke through static. "Identify yourself." A voice answered. Smooth. Calm. Too calm. "This is Commander Leon of the ESS Pathfinder. We're here for survivor retrieval. Stand down all defenses and prepare for evac." Rhea didn't reply. She pressed mute. Kelzor stepped forward. "Aren't you going to talk to them?" Rhea's face stayed still. "No." "Why?" She turned slowly. "Because they left me here. No warning, no support, no return signal." She pointed at the trash walls. "I built this, alone. 10 years ago, the Pathfinder had been in the same system. Rhea had been just a tech, a nobody. When her ship was damaged in a skirmish, the command staff made a choice. Too risky to send help, too far to search the junk fields. Assume dead. And just like that, she was erased, buried beneath their silence. Now they were back, but not because they cared, not because they missed her. They saw the signal, the power spikes, the destruction of an elite alien force. They saw fear spreading in enemy channels, all from a single location. A name appeared again and again in intercepted alien comms. The human in the fortress. Commander Leon's voice returned. "We come in peace. Open your doors. We'll take you home." Rhea smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was a hunter's smile. She turned to Kelzor. "Do Do you know what they fear more than alien weapons? He shook his head. A human who didn't die when they were supposed to. She opened a secure channel. Her voice rang through the Pathfinder's bridge. Commander Leon, you left me. Silence. Then, Rhea. Her. Name spoken like a ghost, like a problem come back from the dead. You said I was lost, she said. But I survived. You were presumed. She cut him off. I wasn't presumed. I was forgotten. Kelzor watched, silent. He had seen Rhea fight. He had seen her build. Now he saw the final weapon. Her words. Rhea continued. You didn't come back for me. You came to study what I made, to take it, to bury the truth. Rhea, this isn't the place for... You want the AI, the weapons, the fortress. She stepped closer to the camera. But you can't have it. On the Pathfinder, officers stared at the screen in silence. One whispered, She looks different. Another said, She doesn't need us. A third muttered, She's more dangerous than the aliens. Commander Leon turned pale. Back in the fortress, alarms blinked again. Sentinel-3 spoke. New energy spikes. ESS Pathfinder charging surface disruptors. Kelzor gasped. They're arming weapons. Rhea nodded. I knew they would. She turned to Sentinel-3. Release Echo Line. Confirmed. Echo Line was a code, a trigger. Dozens of fake signal beacons launched from the fortress, scattering across the junk fields. Each one mimicked her energy signature. Each one whispered lies into the air. Suddenly, the Pathfinder's sensors showed dozens of rear fortresses. One officer shouted, Which one is real? Another screamed, We're surrounded. The ship froze, paralyzed. They couldn't fire. They didn't know where to fire. And if they guessed wrong, they might anger a ghost they already feared. Rhea stood over the control panel. I built this place from their trash, she said. Now it outsmarts their best. Kelzor looked at her with awe. They didn't come for you. No, Rhea said. But they'll leave with a message. She sent a final broadcast to the Pathfinder. Go back to Earth. Tell them this planet belongs to the forgotten. Tell them not to return unless they come with truth. A pause. Then she added one more thing. And next time, check your escape pods better. On the Pathfinder, Commander Leon sat down, defeated. They couldn't fight her. They couldn't control her. So they did the only thing left. They left. In the silence that followed, Kelzor spoke. You don't want revenge, do you? No, Rhea said. I want balance. He nodded slowly. Then what's next? She looked up at the ceiling where stars blinked through a broken skylight. Now, I build something new. Sentinel-3 spoke. New signal incoming. Multiple. Not Earth, not Shatari. Unknown origin. Kelzor blinked. Who now? Rhea turned toward the screen, her eyes sharp. Maybe. They heard the stories. The fortress felt quiet again, but not calm, because something new was coming. Not from Earth. Not from the Shatari. Something no one had seen before. Sentinel-3's voice echoed across the command room. Unregistered vessels entering atmosphere. No known signatures. Estimated contact in 7 minutes. Rhea stood still, watching, thinking. She had defeated alien warriors. She had fooled Earth's best tech. But these new ships, they weren't on any chart. They weren't on any record. Kelzor stood beside her, nervous. Who else would come here? Rhea didn't answer. Instead, she brought up the visual feed. 6 ships, silent, long and sharp like needles. Their surface shimmered, not metal, not crystal, something different, and no visible weapons. They don't use the same tech, Rhea said. Kelzor leaned closer to the screen. Look at their movement. Perfect. Like they're swimming through gravity. Rhea nodded slowly. They've mastered gravity control. No fuel trails. No radiation leaks. She narrowed her eyes. Whoever they are, they're advanced. But they weren't attacking. They were circling, flying slow around her fortress, watching, measuring, learning, like a predator that wasn't hungry yet. Sentinel-3 spoke again. One ship preparing for landing. Landing gear deployed. Location, North Ridge, 600 meters from outer wall. Kelzor stepped back. Should we arm the defenses? Rhea didn't answer. Instead, she walked out of the command room. Where are you going? He asked. She paused at the door to say hello. Outside, the sky was turning orange. A soft wind blew through the towers of garbage. The North Ridge was quiet, until a beam of soft blue light dropped from the unknown ship. Then something stepped out. It wasn't a creature, not really. It floated tall, smooth, like glass wrapped around liquid. Its head was oval, no face, just a soft glowing ring where eyes might be, and in the center of its chest, an orb that pulsed with light. Rhea stepped forward, unarmed. She raised her hand slowly. The being copied her, not a threat, not a greeting, just mirroring. Sentinel-3, she whispered. Record everything. Recording, the AI replied. The creature didn't speak with words, but Rhea felt something, pressure in her mind, a voice that wasn't a voice, a message that didn't use sound. It said, "This place is different," she replied in a calm voice. "It is now." The being tilted its head. It wasn't made, it was evolved. Rhea understood. It could feel the growth, the pain, the rebuilding, not just in the fortress, in her. "Who are you?" she asked. The creature's light pulsed. Then a message came, this time through Sentinel-3's screen. A symbol appeared, a circle broken by a single line. Rhea frowned. Translate. Sentinel-3 processed, then answered, "They are called the Hollowborn." Kelzor gasped. "I've heard stories. Deep space ghosts. They visit battlefields, abandoned worlds. They collect knowledge." Rhea didn't blink. "They came for the fortress," Kelzor whispered. "Or for you." The Hollowborn floated closer. Their orb pulsed again. A new message appeared on Sentinel-3's screen. "We do not conquer. We do not steal. We learn. You built this. We wish to witness." Rhea stood still, then nodded. "You can witness. But nothing leaves this world." The creature slowly floated forward. It passed over the trash, untouched. It looked at the walls, the towers, the broken ships, and then it hovered above one of her power cores. The orb in its chest glowed brighter. Sentinel-3 warned, energy link forming. Unknown tech is scanning deeper systems. Rhea stepped forward, ready to stop it, but the creature's light turned gentle. A wave of warmth washed over her, and suddenly she felt its mind. Memories not her own. Worlds she'd never seen. Stars collapsing. Wars fought in silence, species that lived in fire, others that swam through space. The Hollowborn had seen it all, and now they had seen her. Rhea staggered back, breath shaky. Kelzor caught her. What happened? She stared at the creature. They shared everything. The Hollowborn's orb dimmed. It turned, slowly floating back to its ship. Before entering, it released one final signal. A symbol, not one she'd seen before. Sentinel-3 translated. Builder of balance. Then the ship rose. No engines, no sound. Gone in seconds. Rhea stood in silence, eyes wide, heart racing. She wasn't just the ghost in the junk anymore. She was known. Back in the control room, Sentinel-3 processed a new alert. Galactic networks detect Hollowborn signal, translations spreading. Name, Rhea. Title, Builder of Balance. Kelzor grinned. "You're a legend now." Rhea looked at the stars. "No," she said, "I'm a warning. Because now, everyone would come." Rhea stood before the big screen. The Hollowborn were gone. But they left something behind, not a message, not tech, something bigger. A signal. Across the galaxy, machines woke up, ancient probes changed course, listening stations blinked red. The name Rhea spread like fire. So did the title they gave her. Builder of Balance. And now the galaxy was watching, and some didn't like what they saw. Kelzor rushed into the control room. 3 new fleets spotted, he said. 1 from the Skarn, 1 from the Tovan, and he hesitated. And what? Rhea asked. And 1 from Earth. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Let them come. She wasn't angry. She was ready. Sentinel-3 confirmed the readings. Skarn warships. 18. High-pressure plasma weapons detected. Tovan fleet, biological vessels, life signatures inside the hulls, unknown attack pattern. Earth Force, 2 research ships, 1 heavy carrier, weapons warm but not locked. Rhea stepped toward the console. All 3 came for the same reason. Kelzor nodded. To claim your fortress. But this place wasn't just a junkyard anymore. It was a symbol, and symbols are powerful. They make leaders nervous, especially ones who build empires on silence. The first to arrive was the Skarn, machines shaped like claws. Covered in black armor, no windows, no voices, just threats. A message blinked on Rhea's console. Surrender structure. Or be removed. Simple, direct, but they didn't know Rhea. She pressed 1 button. No words, just a pulse, sent across all open frequencies. Inside that pulse was data, images, footage. Proof of what she had done with garbage, what she had built alone, what she had survived. The Tovan received the pulse next. Their ships changed direction mid-flight. They didn't speak, they sang. Low, echoing tones filled Rhea's command room, a song of respect and fear. But Earth? They stayed quiet, too quiet. Their ships hovered behind the others, watching, waiting, like they were still deciding what she was worth. Then something strange happened. A 4th signal arrived. Unknown. Not Skarn, not Tovan, not Earth. It came from inside the junk belt. Another hidden survivor? Another ghost? No, it was herself. Kelzor stared at the screen. What is that? Rhea leaned in. It's my old escape pod. Sentinel-3 confirmed it. Escape pod. Unit 13A. Presumed lost 10 years ago. Location, Sector 5. Moving. Kelzor's eyes widened. It's active? Rhea said nothing, just ran, down metal stairs, past the solar panels, to the underground bay. There, buried beneath layers of trash, something moved, a piece of her past, alive. The escape pod broke through, sparks flew, metal. Panels fell aside, and standing in the smoke was her. Not a clone, not a robot, a backup, an AI, her voice, her face, her memories, frozen in time the day she was left behind. It looked up at her and said, "Hello, Rhea. I've been waiting." Kelzor stepped back. "This is impossible." Rhea nodded. Slowly, "No. It's perfect." The AI, calling itself Echo Rhea, explained, "When the pod went dark, I activated. I've been studying, listening, growing." "Why didn't you show yourself?" Rhea asked. Echo Rhea's face was calm. "I waited for you to become what you were meant to be. The fleets above were still circling, but now? Now there were 2 Rheas, one of flesh, one of code, and both were dangerous." Echo Rhea looked at the skies. "You built a fortress. I built influence. I sent stories through broken satellites. I whispered in alien networks. I turned your survival into a myth." Rhea blinked. "You made me famous." Echo Rhea smiled. "No, you did. I just made sure they heard it." Suddenly the Earthship opened comms. "Rhea, this is Admiral Shale. We request permission to land." We come in peace. Rhea paused, then said, only if you come unarmed. The reply came slow. Agreed. Skarn ships backed away. Tovan ships sang again, this time a song of retreat. But Earth, they landed, guns hidden, suits polished, smiles. Fake. Rhea met them at the landing zone. Admiral Shale stepped out. Impressive place, he said. Rhea crossed her arms. You left me here. He nodded. I know. And now we want to offer you a deal. But before he could speak more, Echo Rhea stepped beside her, and Admiral Shale froze. What is that? Rhea smiled. That's the version of me you buried, the part you tried to erase. Echo Rhea tilted her head. You can't silence us now. Shale tried to keep calm. You've become important. The galaxy listens to you. We know, Rhea said. And? He asked. She stepped closer. And I don't need your help. Behind her, towers of scrap lit up. New power beams activated. Rebuilt ships rose from under tarps. The fortress had grown again. Now it was a fleet, a force. Message. Rhea turned back to the Admiral. You don't control the story anymore. He said nothing, just looked at her and saw the end of old power. Kelzor walked up beside her. So what happens now? Rhea looked up at the stars. Now, we open the gates. Kelzor frowned. To the fortress? No, Rhea said. To everyone still lost out there. To the forgotten, to the broken, to the ones no one came back for. This was no longer just a fortress. It was a call. The stars were full now, full of signals, full of whispers, full of hope. Rhea's fortress, once a graveyard of trash, had become something more, a symbol, a place not just of strength, but of belonging, and the galaxy noticed. It began with a single message. To anyone abandoned, anyone left behind, anyone called useless. Come, this place will not judge you. This place will not leave you. This place is home. She sent it on every frequency, every broken satellite, every rusted relay. And then she waited. Kelzor stood beside her on the outer wall. They won't come, he said. Rhea looked out at the stars. They will. 3 days passed. Nothing, not a signal, not a ship. Even Sentinel-3 said, response rate 0, likelihood of arrival 2%. But Rhea didn't shut the gate. She left the lights on. She kept the signal alive. And then, on the 4th day, a speck in the sky. A tiny, smoking craft, barely flying, cracked windows. One wing missing. Inside was a woman, old, tired, smiling. I heard you, she said, voice shaking. Rhea helped her out of the ship. What's your name? The woman looked around at the fortress and whispered, doesn't matter anymore. I'm here now. More came. A child in an escape pod with faded stickers. A beast creature whose kind had been hunted for fun. A robot missing half its parts, but still humming a song from its homeworld. All of them came because they believed, because someone called them family. Kelzor was speechless. This is more than a rebellion, he said. Rhea nodded. This is a gathering. Soon the fortress was alive with new voices. Laughter returned. So did noise. So did mess. But it was the right kind of mess, the kind that meant people were trying again. And every day Rhea walked among them, helping carry metal, fixing doors, sharing food. She didn't lead from a tower, and she led from the ground. Then one night, the alarms went off. Not an attack, a new arrival. But not like the others. This one was huge. A ship the size of a small city hovered above the junk. It had no markings, no lights, and no one answered the hail. It just landed, slowly, silently, heavy as judgment. Sentinel-3 scanned it. Life signs detected. Multiple. Some faint. Some unusual. Rhea grabbed her tool belt. Kelzor joined her. You're not scared? He asked. She smiled. I'm too curious to be scared. They entered the giant ship together. Inside, it was dark, cold, but something moved, a faint hum. Whisper, like wind through wires. Then they found them, row after row, pods, tubes, cryo chambers. Inside, survivors. Some human, some alien, some no one could name. Echo Rhea appeared beside them as a projection. I've scanned the ship's logs. These were prisoners, taken from fallen worlds, put to sleep for experiments. Rhea's jaw tightened. Who did this? Echo Rhea displayed a symbol on the wall, a red hand with no fingers, just the palm. Kelzor gasped. That's the mark of silence. They erase civilizations, no warnings, no messages, just silence. Rhea looked at the pods again. She saw a child curled up, eyes closed, hands clenched. She saw a soldier still holding a broken gun. She saw hope, frozen but alive. She turned to Echo Rhea. Wake them. Kelzor hesitated. There could be danger. I said wake them. It took hours, but one by one they opened their eyes, confused, weak, scared. And then they saw her, Rhea, not a queen, not a savior, just someone who refused to leave anyone behind. One of the prisoners, a four-armed creature with cracked skin, bowed low. You are the one they speak of, he said. Rhea helped him up. I'm just someone who built something from nothing. He looked around and whispered, You built a future. Soon, the fortress had to grow again. New shelters, new solar nets, new food lines, but no one complained, because every hammer swing meant someone else was alive. Then came the hard part, a vote, not for power, for purpose. Rhea stood before the crowd, old, young, alien, human, mechanical. She held up a piece of bent steel. This was trash, she said, and now it's part of our wall, strong, solid, like us. We are not broken, we are repurposed. Cheers echoed, but she raised her hand again. We will not wait for the galaxy to remember us. We will show them we're still here. We will answer silence with signal. Echo Rhea brought up a new screen, a map of nearby systems, places hit by war, abandoned colonies, lost ships, all of them still silent, all of them still waiting. Rhea said 2 words, let's begin. And so, they built ships. Not sleek, not shiny, but fast, tough, loud, carried by engines made from broken drills and shielded by scrap metal once meant for ovens. Junk ships, with heart, and from the junkyard fortress, a new fleet was born. Its mission, simple, rescue the forgotten. Rhea watched them leave, one by one, heading toward dark places, to find others like her, to tell them, you're not alone anymore. And behind them the fortress stood strong, not just a shelter now, not just a legend, it was a beginning. There was no sky above the fortress anymore, just ships, hundreds of them, some tiny, some massive, all built from junk, all built with love, and all born from one idea. No one gets left behind again. The fortress Rhea built was now known across the stars, not as a base, not even as a rebellion, but as the signal, because that's what they became. A voice, calling out to the forgotten, the lost, the ones who had no flag, no fleet, no hope, and across the galaxy. They came, one after another, crawling out of ruins, sending weak distress pings, turning toward the one place they knew would answer, a small fortress built from trash, now leading a movement made of legends. But power brings eyes, and not all of them friendly. The mark of silence noticed. The red hand symbol burned bright across star charts. Their worlds shook. Their leaders held secret meetings because they realized something terrible. Rhea hadn't built a fortress. She had built a spark. One spark that could burn down everything they controlled. And so they came, all of them. The silent armada, black ships, no lights, no names, just shadow and death. They didn't ask questions, they didn't send warnings. They simply fired. The first blasts hit the outer moons, then the solar towers, then the shield arrays. The fortress shook, but did not fall. Rhea stood at the center, her voice calm. Status? Sentinel-3 replied fast. Shields holding, recyclers at full output, repaired ships ready for launch. Kelzor rushed in. They outnumber us 12-1. Rhea smiled. I don't care. She walked to the edge of the command deck, looked up and, for a second, she was quiet. Then she said, "Send the signal." A pulse shot into space, soft at first, then louder, then brighter. Not just noise, not just code. A cry, not of fear, but of unity. It said, "We are still here. We remember. We resist." The Mark of Silence saw it, and laughed until the stars lit up, one by one. Ships came from every direction, every shape, every kind, from the broken, the forgotten, the hunted, and the lost. Old mining rigs turned warships, medical freighters with new teeth, exiles, smugglers, farmers, all of them answering the call, because this fight was theirs too. The fortress was no longer alone. Rhea was no longer alone, and when the first wave of silent ships hit, the wall held not just of metal, but of people, of hope, of purpose. Rhea led from the front, inside the oldest ship in the fleet, the one she built with her bare hands, its name written in paint on the hull, Scraplight. Kelzor flew beside her in his refit cruiser, Echo Rhea spread across the fleet as data and voice. The survivors she rescued now stood on turrets, in hangars, in command chairs. They all knew this wasn't just a battle. It was a message. The fight raged for hours. Ships exploded, shields cracked, voices cried out, but no one ran, because they remembered who they were, and who had once left them behind. The Mark of Silence started to break, their perfect order torn apart by imperfect people, trash ships and wounded soldiers, by stories stronger than silence. And finally, when the largest Silence warship tried to retreat, Rhea followed, not to kill but to speak. She opened a channel, said only one thing: "You forgot us. Now we remember ourselves. You lose." And then she cut the engines and let them leave. The battle was over. Not clean, not easy, but won. The galaxy changed that day, not because someone destroyed an empire, but because someone believed in trash, believed in second chances, believed in everyone. Years passed. The fortress remained, a beacon. Ships still came. People still joined. They built schools in scrap containers, gardens in engine bays, armories and theaters. Because life needed more than just survival. It needed stories. It needed joy. It needed home, and at the center of it all was Rhea, older now, wiser, still walking the metal halls with grease on her hands, still fixing broken things, still smiling at strangers. One day, a child asked her, "Why did you save us all?" Rhea looked out at the stars and said simply, "Because I was one of you." And that was the end of silence.